Started. Good morning and welcome to the 2024 Purple Star Awards ceremony. I'm Dr. Angie Molinax and I serve as the Director of Innovative Practices and Programs and also our State Military Liaison. I'm joined up here by my sidekick, Howard Lattimore, our State Military Consultant, and probably the one that most of you, if you're a part of contact, have been working with over this past year. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Howard, and he's going to get it kicked off with the Pledge of Allegiance and flag.
Okay, please stand and remain standing as Unicorn High School Navy Gerald PC from Moortown School Post Color. Today's cadets are Adelaide Terry, Landon Patterson, Christopher Wilkerson, Ethan Sampson, under the command of retired Navy Lieutenant Commander Wynn.
Read, color, ready, cut, read, set, color.
Please remain standing as Nathan Rule and Paris Pace of Unicorn High School sing our national anthem. They will be accompanied by fellow student Evan Goodrich.
Always get and you see, like all them. What's the wrong? And right on. For the world so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, no longer singing air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, sing the flag, star-spangled banner yet wave. For the land of the free, and the home of the brave. Ready, color, ready, cut, count, march. Color, halt, order, color. Ready, cut. Reset, arm, order, arm, ready, cut, shoulder, arm, ready, cut, counter, march. Forward, march. Detail, halt, order, arm, ready, cut, pause.
Thank you. Please
Give them a round of applause. Well done. Very well done. Awesome.
So this is, last year, if you remember, we had JROTC, it was Army, to come and to do the colors. We didn't have any students singing, we didn't have any students speaking, and we wanted to amp it up just a little bit because we know some of you are the same people who come each year to this. Many of you are new, and ideally we have every state or every superintendent across all of our state here eventually. But we wanted to kind of give you a little bit more. So let's just give those students another round of applause. You'll hear me say this a few times, but these students are from Moore County, and every day when I drive past their high school, my daughter and my son go to the middle school right next door, and I see the Navy JROTC out there in their field practicing just about every single day. And so it's really impressive to see how dedicated your students are, and thank you for leading them in that effort. And to our music students as well, that was fantastic, so thank you. I also want to say thank you to Moore County School Superintendent, Dr. Tim Locklear. We also have Union Pines High School, Andy McCormick here. He's also my neighbor, literally across the street. So if he wasn't here today, I was gonna walk across to his house and say, hey, all right. Timothy Wynn, again, thank you, JROTC Commander. And then we have Mary Beth Thomas, who is our student-to-student advisor, and she also has some of her team here with her today. So lots of people, lots of adults, caring adults who make these opportunities possible for our students. And we just can't thank you guys enough for letting us borrow your students today and for everything you do to support these military connected students, but also all of those students in your school district. All right, we have a lot more thank yous to get through. As you know, Howard and I are a very small but mighty team. We have another team member, Dr. Erica Shoulders-Royster, who oversees a totally different program, the Career and College Ready Graduate Program. So to put this on every year and to do the Purple Star Award, it takes a lot of people from across our state. So just humor me as I go through this list. As I say the organization, if you would just kind of wave or stand a little bit so that we know who you are. We won't applaud for each of those groups until we get to the very end. So if you are a member, and I know they're in short session, but if you are a member of the North Carolina General Assembly, we have Representative, okay, I wasn't sure, so Representative Aaron Perret, and also Representative Diane Loftus. They are two of our strongest advocates for the military. Again, like I said, every year we have this, they're in short session, and so they're required to really be over there at General Assembly. If you drive past General Assembly, it's a very hot place to be right now, lots of traffic. But Aaron is a military spouse, and then Representative Loftus works very close with us and also our Military Interstate Compact Commission and the Raleigh Recruiting Battalion to help support kiddos when they graduate from us and to learn about enlistment opportunities. So I just want to acknowledge their support as well as the other members of General Assembly. Our State Board of Education, members of our military, active, guard, reserve, and veterans. Go ahead. I know, I see you all in your uniform. Here you are. Yes, great. Two services, well, three services that we can't get by in any society without. Education, military, and then our police, firefighters, and our medical services. So, thank you. Our military liaison counselors and school liaison officers. These folks are ones who are either on Fort Liberty or Camp Lejeune, or they are in the school districts, and they are really our arms to the school districts and charter schools across the state. One might be an employee of Cumberland County Schools, but they kindly help to support Scotland County Schools and some of the other local Hope County schools who don't have military liaison counselors. So thank you to all you do. I know you work with Howard on a very regular basis. members of our North Carolina Military Affairs Commission, our Interstate Children's Compact Commission, and the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. Alright, also our DPI staff, I want to especially acknowledge Superintendent Catherine Truitt. She is our state superintendent. She's unable to be here with us today, but as most of you know, she is also a military spouse. Her husband served active duty in the Navy for many years and then has continued his service as a National Guardsman. She's one of our greatest supporters for our nation's military, but also our military-connected students. I also want to acknowledge Brian Stevens back in the back running our technology. He's with North Carolina Virtual Public Schools, and he kindly joins our team for this ceremony every year. And then I mentioned Dr. Erica Shoulders-Royster, who's on my team. I think she's kind of running things out there and all about. And then, of course, Elaine Darby, who does our photographs, our videos, and all of the things media. So thank you guys for helping to support this today. Our school district and charter school personnel, we're going to acknowledge you when we do our awards, but obviously we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for all that you do for our kiddos every single day. And then also anyone else who is military connected and supports our military connected students. I know we have Raleigh with MSEC, any others who support our military connected students. That's really everybody in this room, right? That's all of us. So. All right, and I have to say too, I have to just add this in. This is my first time, you guys know I've been doing this since my 5th year, right? This is my first time doing this ceremony, and my husband is now retired. So I am like on the other side of things. So it's kind of crazy that I'm in this different space, but I still feel I almost forget that he's not in the military. I'll probably always feel like he is after that many years. So thank you guys for everything you do. All right. Next, we're going to shift a little bit. We're going to start hearing from other people who are not me because I have a horrible speaking voice. So this recognition would not be possible without the extensive support from our leaders at DPI. I mentioned State Superintendent Catherine Truitt. We have several deputy superintendents and other key leaders at our Department of Public Instruction. In particular, we are blessed to have Dr. Andrew Smith, who serves as our Deputy Superintendent of Innovation. He came to us from Rowan Salisbury Schools, and he has been such a strong supporter of our military-connected students since joining NCDPI. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Smith here with us today to provide opening ceremony remarks. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Smith.
Right, well, good morning, everyone. It is so lovely to see so much purple. It is either Easter morning at church or it is a Purple Star ceremony, and we are at the latter, actually. And so thank you so much for having me today. I'd like to say a few words. It's my privilege to stand before you today to celebrate the incredible achievements of our Purple Star Awards here in North Carolina. This year, hundreds of traditional and charter schools will receive this prestigious recognition for their extraordinary support of military students and families. Year over year, since the inception of this award, we've seen a number of additional schools added to the list. This year alone, we've seen an increase of 58 additional schools. Now, I'll save the suspense and the drum roll for Howard to tell you the total number of schools, but it's quite the feat and the number this year. This growing number of schools is a testament to the unwavering commitment and dedication of our educators and administrators across this state. North Carolina has a long and proud history of supporting our military community. This probably isn't a surprise to anyone in the room, but we have one of the largest military footprints in the country. Now, for a little crowd engagement for this early morning start, with a quick poll, I'd like for you to tell me how many children in North Carolina have parents who serve in the armed forces. Is it A, 10,000, B, 20,000, C, 50,000, or D, 100,000? So here we go, raise your hand if you think it's A, 10,000, B, 20,000, C, you have to vote by the way, 50,000, C, 50,000, or D, thought let's go to the extreme, 100,000. All right, the answer is C, actually, 50,000. And to be specific, and according to our latest data, North Carolina is home to 52,000 school-aged children whose parents serve in the armed forces. These families make sacrifices every day to protect our freedom. And myself and the state superintendent believe wholly it is our duty to support them in every way we can. And I would argue that this matter is integral to our national security defense strategy. This allows our soldiers, both home and abroad, to focus on their mission, because they know, back home, their children are being educated and safe and supported schools. And that's the work that you do, and that's why we're honoring you today. So with this in mind, we know that military-connected children face unique challenges that many of their peers have maybe never experienced. They often have to say goodbye to their friends, their familiar surroundings, as they move from base to base. They must adapt to new schools, new teachers, new routines, all while coping with the absence of a parent that may be deployed overseas. These challenges can be overwhelming, but our Purple Star schools are shining examples of the support and best practices for these children, providing a sense of stability and community in the midst of constant change. Now you may be wondering, why is the DPI innovation guy talking at the military connected children ceremony? Well, I think about innovation a lot, and I think about your work, and I think there are distinct intersections. First, when we think about innovation, we can learn a lot from our history. What have we done well in the past? What can we iterate on? Secondly, we learn from best practices, from you all, when we think about what others are doing and employ those best practices in our own schools. And then finally, it's about intersections. It's finding diverse perspectives and how we can think differently together to come up with new innovations. So I'm going to take a few moments to talk about those three elements. So first, I'll start with history. I'll warn you, I have a biology degree, but I love American history. And I will tell you that I did win the 4th grade Boston Elementary School American History Award. And yes, my mother still does have that trophy at my home. So I wanted to dive a little into the history. Is Purple Star the only time we've really supported kids? The answer is no. But this history goes a long way back. So although the Purple Star designation initiative launched in 2019 and has grown exponentially, with 58 new applicants this year alone, the support of military-connected children has a history rooted deep in the foundation of our country. Supporting military children in schools in the United States has a long and storied past, reflecting the nation's deep-rooted commitment to those who serve in the armed forces. From the early years of the Republic to the present, efforts to assist military children have evolved to meet the ever-changing needs of military families. One of the earliest examples of support for military children dates back to the American Revolution, when the Continental Congress passed legislation providing for the care and education of the children of soldiers who died in service of their country. This early recognition of the sacrifices made by military families set a precedent for many future efforts to support military children. During the 19th century, we saw developments in support of military children, including during the Civil War. Organizations like the United States Sanitary Commission, heard about that, some of you, and the Christian Commission provided assistance to families of soldiers, including the education of their children. After the war, the federal government established the Freedmen's Bureau, which provided education and other services for families of freed slaves, many of whom served in the Union Army. The early 20th century saw the establishment of the first formal programs to support military children. In 1919, Congress passed the National Defense Act, which provided the establishment of schools for the children of military personnel stationed overseas. During World War II, the federal government expanded its support of military children, establishing programs such as the Children's Allowance Program, which provided financial assistance to military families of military personnel. In that same time frame, many of you likely know this, the GI Bill of Rights was passed and provide educational benefits to veterans, which can also be passed to their children. In the post-World War II era, the federal government continued to expand its support of military children. In 1950, Congress passed the Impact Aid Act, which provided funding to school districts that were affected by the presence of military bases. This funding helped to offset the cost of educating military children. who often require additional supports due to the transient nature of the military life. In more recent decades, efforts to support military children have continued to evolve. The Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission, as you might know, MIC-3, established in 2008, works to ensure that children of military families receive the same educational opportunities as their civilian counterparts, even as they move state to state. And that brings us to today, 2024. Programs such as the Purple Star designation, which recognizes schools for your support of military children, have been established to honor those schools that go above and beyond in supporting military families. So you see, the history of supporting military children in schools in the United States is a testament to the nation's commitment to those who serve in the armed forces. From the early days of the Republic to the present, efforts to assist military children have evolved to meet the ever-changing needs of those military families, ensuring that they receive the support and the assistance they need to succeed. The United States has a tradition and a history of supporting our military-connected kids, and you all are a part of that storied past. Now, one of the best parts of this work and work of the Office of Innovation is we have the opportunity to find best practices, to lift those up, and to scale those across our state. And in this case, we're learning from the proverbial, excuse the pun, boots on the ground educators, how you're supporting military children. And so with that, I'd like to shed light on a few of the best practices from this year's stellar cohort of Purple Star schools. One of the most crucial aspects of supporting military-connected children is recognizing the importance of schools as a form of stability in their lives. Military families often face frequent moves and deployments, which can disrupt their sense of stability and security. In these times of uncertainty, schools play a vital role in providing a stable, consistent, and supporting environment for children. Is a representative from Union Pines High School, or Moore County here? Yes, they're right over here. Union Pines, they don't know about this one. Union Pines High School is an excellent example of going above and beyond in the outward display and support of military children. Recently, they host the 82nd All-American Band at their high school for their Purple Up pep rally, say that 3 times fast, to bring awareness and support to the school's large military-connected population. Thank you for what you do, Union Pines. Schools also serve as a critical anchor for military-connected children, providing them with a sense of stability and routine that is essential for their emotional well-being. The relationships they form with teachers and classmates can be a source of comfort and support during those challenging times. Here at DPI, we recently developed the North Carolina Portrait of a Graduate. That provides 7 durable skills for the support of students' advancement with critical life skills. And we see this as a helpful resource in supporting both military and civilian children. Is Meade chartered? Oh, you're here. All right. As an example of this best practice, Meade Charter School, located in the northeast of North Carolina, is supporting its military-connected children while also infusing North Carolina Portrait of durable skills in its target support efforts for military-connected children. Thank you for all you do for military-connected children at Meade Charter School. Additionally, schools play a key role in helping children navigate the unique challenges they face, such as dealing with deployment-related stress or adjusting to a new school after a move. By providing a supportive and understanding environment, schools can help these children thrive academically and emotionally. Now you may be wondering, who am I going to point out now? And this best practice is actually where you all excel. You do an excellent job of supporting these children every single day, and that's why we're here honoring you today. And finally, as the Deputy State Superintendent for the Office of Innovation, I would be remiss if I didn't briefly touch on the connection between supporting military-connected children and innovation. So I believe that supporting military-connected children can lead to innovation in education in all schools. So first, to understand innovation, you have to think about constraints. Constraints are often the drivers of innovation. There's a really good book called A Beautiful Constraint. And in the book, the authors talk about innovation in a way that when we are constrained as humans, we automatically think about a solution. And it's oftentimes not until we are constrained that we do anything different. Think about, I don't know, vaccines. There's a wasn't thinking about creating vaccines until there was a constraint, there was a challenge. So that same idea can be applied to this work. The unique challenges or constraints faced by military children, such as frequent moves and parent deployments, require schools to be innovative in their approaches to education. Schools that support military children often develop new and innovative solutions to help their students succeed academically and emotionally, despite the disruptions they may face outside of school. These same new innovative solutions designed for military-connected children can also be applied to other children who may be facing similar challenges outside of school. However, I would argue, if those initial constraints that spurred us to come up with these new innovative solutions. So think of your challenges as a true way to innovate. Secondly, I believe strongly in diverse perspectives, and that innovation rests at the nexus of diverse perspectives. That sink in a second. Diverse backgrounds and experiences of military children enrich the educational environment for all kids. Schools that support military children often embrace that diversity of student perspective and background, leading to a more innovative and supportive learning environment for all students. And finally, the collaboration between schools, military families, and the military community can foster innovation in education. Schools that support military children often work closely with military bases, other organizations, to develop programs and initiatives that benefit all kids. This collaboration can lead to the sharing of best practices and the development of new approaches to education that benefit both military and civilian students. Supporting military-connected children can spur innovation in education by encouraging schools to develop new creative solutions to unique challenges, embracing our students' diverse perspectives, and fostering collaboration between schools and the military community. Now, before I conclude, I need to say a very special thank you to two wonderful innovation team members, Dr. Angie Lennox and Mr. Howard Lavender. These individuals lead this work behind the scenes and occasionally on the stage. But they do this from a space of deep respect, both having served in the military and a space of passion for supporting your military-connected children. We couldn't be at this wonderful ceremony if it weren't for their leadership. Thank you, Angie and Howard. So, pull this all together. In conclusion, to the superintendents, charter school leaders, principals, support staff, educators, military liaison counselors who worked tirelessly to achieve this recognition, I extend my heartfelt congratulations. You are being recognized today for your commitment to supporting military-connected children through your use of best practices, spurring innovation in your schools, and you are surely going to go down in the history books of supporting military-connected children.
Aren't you glad you had him speak? That was amazing. Thank you. And we were kind of talking about this. I was like, wow, I should know this history. And I didn't realize going all the way back. So that's pretty awesome. And thank you for sharing that with us. And always thank you for your support of all the work we do to help support the field. All right. It's your moment, Vance. Each year at the ceremony, we like to remind attendees, because we know many of you are new, about the history of the recognition. So if you've heard this before, just kind of get glossy-eyed, think about what you're going to do later on. And we're going to take a quick glance back in time and let you know where we've come from, as well as what this award means. So this is an outward-facing award. That means it's really a way for you as a school or as a district to show your communities and other states' communities, as those families are looking to move in, what your school can offer and how it can support your not only military-connected students, but also all of your students that are at your schools. Vance White is going to join me here today. He's going to hold up some of the awards as I go through those for you. So we started this Purple Star Award designation in 2019, 2020. As you know, that was our pandemic year, and maybe by the grace of God, we had a virtual ceremony. I did not have Howard at that time, and that's why I say that. So I'm so thankful that we now have him. I'm not sure how that would have been pulled off. But we had the first award that year And then we continued and did virtual for the next 2 years. And then last year, as you know, that was our very first in-person award ceremony that we had. North Carolina is now one of 43 states that has the Purple Star Award recognition, so we're almost there for the whole nation. And when we started, we were only one of about 17 states. And many of you military liaison counselors helped us when we were standing this up, as well as a person named Pete LaCuba in Ohio, and he stood up theirs in Ohio, and that was kind of the flagship Purple Star state. And so that kind of set us on our path to where we are today. So while each state sets its own criteria, military families and school communities recognize this award as a valuable asset with the frequent moves and other unique needs of our military-connected population. In fact, it is not uncommon for a family to ask if a school is a Purple Star school when they're looking for housing near military installations. That's because the designation recognizes schools that show a major commitment to our students and families that are connected to our nation's military. Schools that earn the designation will receive the following Purple Star recognitions to display on site. All first-time awardees will receive the banner, as well as 2024 numbers to go on the banner. Recertification awardees already have the banner, and so you will get your 2024 numbers to go along with any of the other years that you've been awarded the Purple Star Award. It's small but mighty. It has a lot of meaning behind that 2024. Though this is a site-based award, districts in which all schools receive the designation for the academic year are awarded and recognized as Purple Star districts. Purple Star districts will receive the award for being a military-friendly district. We also have a new award for our charter schools this year, but we will save that for the very end. Districts with select Purple Star schools will receive a certificate for their central offices. The Purple Star designation icon will be added to the North Carolina school report card, so every school has that icon on it. He does a really good job, doesn't he? This is why I keep it in. I just want to see him show off the awards. So since Howard has really helped to grow this award over the past 2 years since he's come on board at DPI, I want to let him share the good news of the growth of this award. Howard?
And first, I would like to thank the school liaison officers, the military liaisons, the district POCs, the principal and superintendents who helped the increase of these numbers. So in 2020, we was awarded 132 schools. In 2021, we were awarded 288 schools. In 2022, we awarded 301 schools. In 2023, we awarded 336 schools. And this year, we are proud to award 394 schools across 26 school districts and 9 charters.
I always say that if you're ever on a meeting with Howard, just pay attention to what he wears. It's always purple. I'm telling you, always purple. Virtual meeting, in person, it does not matter. I think he sleeps in purple. He just threw all of the other colors out and only wears purple. I saw that, Dr. Pam. All right, so one of the components of the award recognition is a required student transition program. Many schools select to incorporate the Military Child Education Coalition's student-to-student initiative as part of that. The student-to-student program consists of students who welcome incoming students to their new school and help departing students prepare for their next school. Established in 2004, the Student-to-Student, or S2S, is a peer-to-peer student-led program that brings military and civilian students together to welcome new students, create a positive environment for all, support educational opportunities, build connections through service, and ease transitions. Today, we are fortunate to have another group with us from Union Pines High School and Moore County Schools as they speak about their student-to-student experience. Their student-to-student program recently earned the 2022-2023 Team of the Year Elite at the Student-to-Student Summit. And that's in DC, right? In Washington, DC. It's an annual one-day professionally facilitated multi-school student training event focused on building strong program foundations using the student-to-student 6 core values. leadership, academics, service, climate, and culture, relationships, and 100% acceptance. With that, would you please welcome Isabella Garcia, Phineas McCafferty, Brianna St. Louis, and Julianne Torres as they talk about their student-to-student experience. And again, they are led by Ms. Thomas, and she also has some members of her team here with her as well. So go ahead.
Good morning. My experience with S2S starts at the beginning of my sophomore year of high school, where it's safe to say that overall I was an uneasy, unmotivated, and uninvolved kid in my school. And attempting to adjust back to the normal life coming out of the fever dream that was the COVID-19 pandemic, I knew I had to do something with my time. So like most high school students, I reached out to my guidance counselor for help. Little did I know that the word student to student would become one of the most important and life-changing aspects of my time at Union class. Coming from a military family of 4 moves and knowing all too well the experience of being the new kid in places like the foreign Masawa, Japan, to rural Columbus, Mississippi, I jumped up the opportunity to be a part of a community meant to foster a welcoming environment for kids just like me and beyond. Whether through the yearly new student orientations, bi-weekly club day socials, or pop-up events like our recent Purple Up Pep Rally, opportunities presented themselves for me to transform into a social butterfly and connect with groups of people I never otherwise would have over the years. Through time, Ms. Thomas saw my potential and asked me if I would like to be a core leader for the student-to-student program, set with the goal of returning it to its pre-COVID legacy. And accepting this offer, I was no longer the old version of myself. Instead, I became one with my leadership group, coordinating some of our favorite community service projects like Vikings Helping Vikings and packing parties to make candy bags for local nursing homes. We promoted ourselves and others with our month of the Military Child Spirit Week and recognized all of our military-connected students with individual purple and yellow flags at the front of our school, which, yes, for our school's proximity to Fort Liberty, meant over 450 endless flags. To put it simply, S2S, more than a school program, was my means of harboring the lifelong friendships that made my high school experience invaluable and unforgettable.
Hello, my name is Isabella Garcia, and I'm a senior at Union Pines High School. As a military child, I was unaware of the amazing opportunities that are provided to military children, one being S2S. When first helping out with S2S, I was completely unaware of the benefits that it had for military-connected students. However, as I got more involved with S2S, I was quickly introduced to all the opportunities that were available from this club. While being a core leader in S2S, I was granted the opportunity to attend the Francis Hesselbein Leadership Program at West Point, where I was able to learn leadership skills from esteemed professors and cadets. This opportunity was amazing for me because it allowed me to take the skills I learned at this program and apply them to our S2S program. I was able to use this information to show our group of core leaders what areas we were doing very well in and what areas of our club needed improvement to help better involve our new students in our school community. During a discussion on needed improvements within our school's S2S, my team and I discussed that it may be easier for new students to transition into our schools if they have a summer buddy that they can talk to and communicate with before they even step foot on our campus. To help these incoming students, we created a questionnaire that the students would be able to answer to get matched up with a core leader buddy, who would be able to hang out with them during the summer and help them feel welcome in their new school and in the new place that they call home. My team and I also wanted to find a way for the school body to interact with more new students. To do this, we planned a dodgeball tournament that allowed all students at our school to participate in. In doing the dodgeball tournament, I saw many interactions and new friendships being made. Our hope to involve more students at our school in S2S was successful after the dodgeball tournament, as we got over 150 new members in S2S. These new members in S2S were especially important because they helped us provide a more welcoming environment for our new students and helped us get more input on improvements that need to be made to our programs.
Good morning. My name is Brianna St. Louis, and I'm a junior at Union Pines High School. My dad is in the Army, and because of this, I've moved 7 times in my life. Now, most kids, they would say they don't like moving, but for some reason, I don't mind it. I like the change. I typically move every 2 years, but when I lived in Texas, the time right before we moved to North Carolina, I lived there for 4 years. Leaving Texas was pretty difficult. I moved right after my freshman year. I had so many friends and played on great sports teams. I did not want to leave. When my dad received orders in March of that year, we took a trip to North Carolina to see the area and visit Union Pines. I met with Miss Thomas and a few teachers. Although this was comforting, I was still anxious, stressed, and sad. That June, we moved to North Carolina, and I brought all of these feelings with me. I was nervous I wasn't going to fit in. The week we arrived, my family and I went over to Union Pines and met with Miss Thomas again. Miss Thomas gave my parents and me the dates of new student orientation hosted by Student to Student, or as we call it, S2S. At first, I didn't want to go. I was scared and knew no one, but my parents told me it was a good idea, and they were correct. The new student orientation introduced me to S2S. During new student orientation, we played games, had a scavenger hunt around the school, and did icebreakers. I laughed and talked to other students, and we had things in common, and this calmed my nerves. The core leaders of S2S helped help newcomers start new conversations with others. I like that we had leaders who were other students just like me. I met many incoming students, and this took away much of my stress. The little things like, who am I gonna sit with at lunch? Those questions were answered. I'm now glad to say that some of the people that I met that day are my closest friends. I don't know what I would do if I did not attend the new student orientation. This orientation made me want to join the club and be more involved. I knew it would be a big part of S2S during my time at Union Pines High School. S2S helped me in so many different ways. It has not only given me some fun laughs and a sense of calmness, but also confidence. S2S has put me in so many positions where I'm uncomfortable, but in a good way. I have learned how to conduct myself in tough situations, for example, speaking in front of people, leading a big group of people, and talking to people I've never met. But through S2S, I have grown and continue to grow in these situations. Not only does S2S help students improve and grow, but it helps community improve and work together. Some of my favorites have been the dodgeball tournament to raise money for students at Christmas, our Veterans Day color run, and packing candy for nursing homes. Last summer at the Military Child Education Coalition, or MSEC Global Summit, our S2S was awarded the National Team of the Year Award. Because of our hard work, dedication, welcoming, and accepting all new students to Union Pines through activities, special events, simple conversations, and community outreach, we proved that what we do matters. Everyone matters and everyone is welcome. This past February, I was awarded a scholarship and the opportunity to attend the Francis Hesselbarn Student Leadership Program at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. MSEC sent 10 S2S students across the country to be part of this leadership conference. There, I learned that relationships are the most important core value. This is very true. I not only met some amazing mentors, but I made some amazing friends. We still talk weekly, not just about S2S details, but about life. Relationships with others are an integral part of S2S. Being alongside of my peers whom I've grown with over the past couple years and developed strong friendships with is something that I will never forget.
Good morning, my name is Phineas McCaffrey and I'm also a junior at Union Pines. As a military brat, you'd think I'd have moved around a lot. Lucky for me, this was not the case. I've only ever lived in 2 states in my life, moving from Arizona to North Carolina, back to Arizona, and then once more to Tar Heel country. There's benefits to not constantly moving, that's for sure. However, I experienced the opposite spectrum of a normal military kid's life, that of which my friends do experienced. Instead of moving away from my friends moved away from me. However, I kept in touch with these friends, and only when it truly hit me that they were gone did I miss them. I kept in close contact with all my friends over the years. They told me all about their struggles that came with leaving their only friends just to settle down in another city, and then being told they were moving again. Talked to me about how lonely they felt when moving to another state or city, which is what inspired me to join S2S. Hearing all the stories of my friends having to make new friends at a new school in a new country they knew nothing about on late night phone calls truly gave me a different perspective for what it really means to be a military brat. This perseverance my friends carried with them into new, uncharted territory inspired me to be like the few kind souls who welcomed my faraway friends with open arms. Many of our core leaders in S2S are military children that moved around a lot and know what it's like to arrive in a new school. That's why our program is great at giving student-led tours, and many of our core leaders are quick to volunteer when new students arrive motherly, inviting warmth to new kids coming to Union Pines. Our student-to-student core leaders all practice S2S core values like leadership, service, and 100% acceptance, among others. We are all very involved and dedicated, and we always have a surplus of helpers in activities like service projects, food drives for the homeless, veterans shelter, Veterans Day runs, and many more. That's why our school program is so great, why we won Elite Student-to-Student Team of the Year. Thank you very much.
Let's give these kids another round of applause. So Howard and I, when we went out to Union Pines to watch the All-American Band perform, which is amazing. If you've never seen it perform, I highly recommend finding an event where they perform, because the lead singer, I think he was on The Voice. Oh my gosh, he's like fantastic. But part of that visit out to Union Pines, we met with these 4 students, and Howard and I were just blown away at their grace and their leadership. And I mean, I have middle school students, and I'm not sure I'm seeing the vision yet that this is going to happen, but I know they'll get there, and I know you guys are just going to go on to do wonderful things. Phineas is one day going to do an Ironman triathlon. He just ran his first marathon, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago in Virginia, I think. Yeah, so yeah, they will go. Thank you guys for coming again. Thank you, Union Pines, for letting us borrow them. All right. So, in addition to our public school support of our military-connected students, we also have a tremendous amount of support from our military community. As you see today, we have many military personnel in attendance to celebrate this recognition, to celebrate you as school leaders. In particular, we are grateful to welcome one of our nation's key military leaders who serves as the Deputy Commanding Officer of Support for the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Liberty, North Carolina. Colonel Promotable, and he will become General next week, actually. Jason T. Williams is no stranger to military-connected children, as he and his wife, Shelley, have 3 daughters, Anna Lee and Emma Kate, who are both in their 2nd year of college, and Caroline, who is a high school senior. Colonel Williams has been serving in his current position since June 2023, and prior to that, he has had a very adventurous career that has taken him all over the world, such as his recent role in Germany as the Executive Officer to the Combatant Commander of the United States Africa Command, and the Executive Officer to the Commanding General of the U.S. Army for Europe and Africa. Colonel Williams has been serving in the military since his commission as a Field Artillery Officer in 1998. And through his 26-year service, Colonel Williams has not only been a father to children who have experienced many military-related transitions, but I have no doubts that he has also provided extensive leadership to many fellow service members who are also parents. With that, I think we'd all love to hear more from Colonel Williams as we celebrate our military-friendly schools today. Let's all welcome Colonel Promotable Jason T. Williams.
Well, my glasses, I'm not quite as young as I used to be. Sometimes I gotta look down at them. Y'all got a lot of varsity talent in this room. I've been to a lot of ceremonies, and I've seen a lot of color guards, and I've seen a lot of singers. I'm telling you, that's the best I ever saw, and I've seen them all. That was really, really fantastic, really fantastic. Next week, the 82nd color guard and the band, they're going to do the ceremony for me, but if something falls through, I'm calling. I'm calling. Hey, these folks right here, like, I'm going to do 2 things when I leave today. First, I'm going to buy that jacket. Second, I'm going to Union Pines High School. You come over here, these are varsity kids right here. You talk to them, the things they want to do, and I think back to, what I wanted to do when I was, I was at something recently where some college kids were talking about, like, so I went to North Georgia, and they were all talking about why they went to North Georgia, and they gave these fantastic answers. And I was sitting there and I thought, man, if somebody asked me that, I said, I wanted to be in the Army. And if they said, would you please expand on that? I really wanted to be in the Army. These guys at varsity got a lot of Vinny's told me he wants to go to Air Force Academy. I told him we all make our choices. After this, I'm gonna get you an application. These are fantastic kids on one Union High. So, 394 total awards. That's really impressive. That's really impressive. Hats off to y'all. All right. I do want to thank Dr. Molinax, Dr. Smith, and I actually report you later for stealing our remarks. Howard Lattimore for putting this on. Really, really incredible. General Anderson, sir, good to see you again. Leaders from across the Board of Education, the DPI staff, and all those other folks in the room who help our military kids as they transition. I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. So I was doing some research. I was actually on a live fire range last night until about 3 o'clock in the morning. And so later on, as you come up and talk to me, and I've got camo like on the back of my ears, just grab it for me. I appreciate it. But on the way up here, I was thinking about my kids. So as Dr. Molinax said, I've got 3 daughters, 2 of which are sophomores in college, and I got one who's a high school senior. And I was thinking about it, and they say that a military kid will attend on average somewhere between 6 and 9 schools in their life from K to 12. My 3 daughters attended 9 each. They all started in Cumberland County in North Carolina at a little school, this sweet little school they got down there called Raleigh Road. It's a little kindergarten and first grade school. It's a fantastic place to start off. You're a little kid. They all started there. And then from there we went off. That took them across 4 states and 2 countries. My 2 older daughters did 3 high schools, and my youngest daughter, the one that graduates in a couple of weeks, she did 5 high schools. Yeah, right. So pretty tough. She was actually really mad at me about that. She transitioned from her sophomore year to her junior year. She was really upset with me. It was really tough in the house there for about 6 months, and then I'll say this again. I'll just say it now. She got involved. It was the faculty advisor for the wrestling team. Was really good to her, and when that happened, it kind of, so. Anyway, okay. Every time a kid changes the school, that's a new principal, a new system, new rules, new teachers, new counselors. Every time. And every time the new kid, they don't feel like they're the new kid. They do a little bit. But at the same time, they don't want to be. My daughter is a senior. She just wants to be a senior. But she's new at the school, and so she works through that. Anyway, like I said, so for my kids, that was 9 out of the 13 years they went to school, K through 12. They were new at the school. Hats off to you and your military liaison council program for the assistance that you provide to that transition. I'm telling you, it's beneficial. They've got them in the school. My daughters spent a lot of time, especially when we were in New York, talking about the impact that the counselors there at that school had on them. So it's a fantastic program. I appreciate y'all. Doing that. Every kid is different, and they respond to all those transitions in a different way. Recognition of that and the extra time to meet them where they are is key in their development. And that was what I was going to say about that faculty advisor at Wiesbaden High School. This was in Germany. I think she just kind of sensed that Caroline was in a different place than the other kids. She was already on her 3rd high school at the time. She really spent some extra time with her. Brought her on, and my daughter became the manager of the wrestling team there in Wiesbaden. They got to go compete in the European championships, and it was really special to her. And her name is Miss Nelson, and so at home we call her Half Nelson. That's how I still refer to her, as Half Nelson. And so, but even when wrestling was over and they transitioned to softball, Half Nelson was really important in my daughter's life. And there's somebody like that here in this room, I'm sure. Truth be told, coaches, teachers, counselors, all y'all spend more time with my children than I did, right? That's why it's so important what you do, the help that y'all do to facilitate that. There's a positive example that at Pine Forest High School, and Coach Green, I don't know if anybody knows Coach Green, he's the wrestling coach and the head athletic trainer down there. Because Caroline had gotten this experience when she was in Germany with the wrestling team, she was really passionate about athletic training and managing the wrestling team. So she got here, I always tell them, if you're going to be a bear, be a big bear. And when she got here, she said, I want to manage wrestling team. So she finds Coach Green, who's the manager of the wrestling team, and she said, look, I've got this experience and I want to manage the wrestling team. And he said, well, come on then. And ever from the very beginning, he treated her just with such respect and gave her a lot of responsibility, and it influenced her so much that this fall, when she leaves to go to UNC Greensboro, she's going to pursue a degree in kinesiology and athletic training. So. Alright, I think that's gonna happen. Being out late last night got me in the field with my kids. Alright, we rally here, circle back. Alright. I'd also like to thank I'd like to highlight and thank our installation school liaison counselors. This team is vital to our military families as they transition. For us, recognition of the challenges of attending a fifth high school for my youngest daughter helped allow them. They facilitated her transferring to the school she wanted to go to. So you know this, or maybe you don't know this, but if you're on Fort Liberty, you're districted to go to one high school. Because of, as I described that school earlier, Raleigh Road, but they started all that time ago. That's where she started. The high school for that district is Pine Forest. Because of social media, my daughter been able to keep up with her friends that she had gone to school with back then, and so she really wanted to go to Pine Forest. And so these the installation school liaison counselors help facilitate that back through the district superintendent to make that so. We are indebted to that because she was able to make this fifth high school a little bit easier because she was going back to a place that she was somewhat familiar with. And so, again, thank you to you, if you're in the room, for doing that for her and doing that for us. I know that that's not the, technically she's supposed to go to the one high school, but the recognition of her unique situation and then putting her in a situation where she could thrive, genuinely appreciate it. I'd also like to thank you as well for your interstate compact. That eases the transition of transfer credits in schools. So as I said, from 5 high schools, 3 high schools for the other one, as they transfer credits back and forth, and what does this class mean, and what does that class mean? I mean, I went to the same school district my whole life. My parents still lived in the same house that I grew up in. When I was a senior, I took team sports, individual sports, and weightlifting, all vitally important classes. I encourage but I don't know if those were transferred. But thank you for this program, this compact you have, because it did help them transfer. They didn't take those. I wanted them to. They didn't take those classes. But it did transfer, and she's going to graduate on time. They all graduated on time, and got off to, my 2 oldest got off to college. That's just kind of where I want to go now. I also thank you for the College Foundation of North Carolina for your post-high school support of military children. Because of you, my daughter, one of my 20-year-olds goes to Fayetteville Tech, and she receives in-state tuition because of that program. And then my daughter, I just spoke about, that was going to go to UNC Greensboro. She will also receive in-state tuition. It's a fantastic program. I mean, look, I've got, like I said, 3 daughters. 2 of them are first-year drivers, and they go to college. And if you got that in your life, that's very, very expensive. So, there's something like this to ease that financial burden on military families, because not all military families can afford to send their kids to college. And I went to college on the GI Bill and student loans, right? Because my folks couldn't afford to send it to college like that, right? So things like this are fantastic programs, and we really, really appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to shut it down now before something else happens. It's really been an honor to be here. I mean that. And I really do appreciate all that y'all do to support our military children as they transition in and out of our year lives. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Remember our purple stars, so please back here. Thank you.
We have a deck.
to hear you speak, to speak from the heart, especially as a parent. I think there's no job more important than being a parent. Next in line is probably being an educator, because you are kind of the parent to those children on a daily basis. So I think if you're a parent or an educator, or you work with children on a daily basis, which is probably everyone in this room, I think we all feel where you were coming from as a parent. So thank you so much. Let's give him another round of applause. All right. Y'all ready to get to some awards? Yes. All right, so now we are going to begin our awards recognition. We're going to do this if you were with us last year. Very similar. If it's new to you, just follow along. We'll tell you what to do. If you have to dance down the aisle, that's the only addition that we have this year. It's totally new, but it's fun. It's cool. All right, so we're going to start with our Purple Star districts. And if Dr. Smith would approach with Howard, they are going to take photographs with the awardees. I'm going to call your names and stay over here. So they're going to get the photographs with you, and Elaine will tell you where to go and kind of direct you along. As we get rolling, you'll see what to do. So as I call the district up or the school up, we'll applaud for them. They'll get their photos and their awards, and then they'll go sit back down. At the very end of the ceremony, there are more award packages, like your rest of your package, to take home with you. Don't leave the building without it, because then we have to drive and bring it to you. Unless you're at the beach, drive, make it a 9 a.m. meeting so that we can stay overnight and get our hotel paid for. Just think to say. All right, our first Purple Star district is Carteret County Schools. Our next Purple Star district is Craven County Schools.
Can we have everybody go this way just a little bit? Yep.
Yeah, if you want to take pictures with your phones when your team comes out, or so you know, you're welcome to do your thing. So for our next school district, when I call them up, we're going to do two photos. We're going to do one with just their team, but then I feel like we should do one with Colonel Williams. So our next school district is Cumberland County Schools, and that is our largest Purple Star district. And as they're getting their photos taken, Nick, he is our MIC 3 commissioner. He is the board attorney for Cumberland County Schools, and he also leads our MIC 3. County Schools. saw them in the crowd. The next school district we have is Arnett County Schools, and I have now decided you guys are the OPSD. You're the original Purple Star District. Jermaine, he is their assistant superintendent, and he really gets behind all of their students in their military families. This is their 5th year of receiving the award. The very first year, we did not actually have this award, and they chose to challenge their staff across all of their schools. I think they have 32 schools, if I remember correctly. They decided Dr. Fleming said, we're gonna challenge and every school is gonna get it. And so they did the very first year, and so we were like, well, we should create an award for them. And that's how we started having Purple Star districts, so. Where I began as a teacher many, many years ago, Hope County Schools. This is why I don't do the pictures. I love watching them shuffle in there. This is a new Purple Star district. We have Jones County Schools.
One, two, three, one, two.
All right, we have more county schools. Onslow County Schools.
Yep, there we go. One, two, three, one, two.
Pender County Schools.
It's a big footprint. The whole coast, very good.
It's a great, great. She's taking a photograph behind the photographer. But I do want to acknowledge our regional directors. Beth is one of our regional directors. These folks are kind of our leaders at DPI out in the field. We have 8 state board of education regions. And so they're also our arm out to our school districts. Are there any other regional directors here with us today from DPI? Okay. Thank you from our Sand Hills region. Thank you for all that you do as well. Polk County Schools. Making our way across North Carolina. Slowly we're infiltrating those mountains. We have Scotland County Schools. As a step back in time, when I was a beginning teacher, Dr. Baldwin, who is now their superintendent, was an assistant principal. I think it's the other way around. Wayne County Public Schools.
Everybody move this way, perfect. One, three, one, two, three.
If you haven't been out to Wayne County Public Schools, they actually have one of their public schools located on the military installation. Andrew, myself, and some others went and visited it, I think last year, somewhere around there. But it's recent, in the last maybe 2 years that they opened it, and they've really kind of set the stage for other military installations to start looking at having public schools. I think it was actually just recently on the news of potentially one on Fort Liberty. So people are starting to really look at how they can create some STEM schools. So it's really cool that they have that. All right, our final Purple Star district recognized is Whiteville City Schools.
One, two, three, one more, one.
So again, all of those districts that we just recognized had every single school in their district to receive the Purple Star Award designation. Let's give them a round of applause. So as this is a site-based award, a district could have one school that becomes a Purple Star school, or they could have 32 schools that become Purple Star schools. It's up to the school and the district as to how they want to proceed with pursuing this award recognition. So next, we're going to recognize our Purple Star schools within traditional school districts. So that means a school district may have, Dr. Taylor, how many schools are in Wayne County?
198.
198 schools in a school district, and a select batch of schools chose to pursue this award recognition. So that's what this means. All right, would you please welcome Catawba County Schools. They had 7 schools earn the designation this year. Told you we're making our way out west.
And one more.
All right, and then we have Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. CMS had 1 school to earn the award this year. I'm not sure if they were able to make it or not. I think some other members of their team were not. Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools. Oh, good. There we go. You had 4 schools from your district. And when I first met with them, I think we talked at, I think it was a superintendent meeting a year or so ago, and their superintendent was just coming on board, and he said, not real sure what this is, but I think we should know more about it. And so Howard reached out, and that's where it kind of went from there.
And 1, 2, 3, one more. 1, 2, 3.
Next, we have another new school district, Guilford County Schools, with 4 schools this year. I was gonna put a map image up to show the variation, but you kind of get the sense anyway that we're hitting a lot of state board regions. But again, this is really a testament to Howard making connections. He is our social butterfly. That's what he excels. There's a social event, I'm sending Howard because he's gonna make connections, and that's exactly what he does with this award. Thanks, Howard. Johnston County Public Schools, this year they had 17. That is an increase. Last year they had 9, so growing. Another new school district with a school, Lee County Schools. They had 1 school this year. I love seeing all of our superintendents here. I just think from the top, it starts, at the top. From the top down, this is kind of a trickle-down effect to show that your district is going to support military kids. Thank you, Lee. Lexington City Schools. They
Tilt the certificate down a little bit. Yep. 1, 2, 1 more. 1, 2.
Richmond County Schools. They had 5 schools this year. Next, we have New Hanover County Schools. This is their first year. Also, they had 1 school this year. I don't believe their superintendent could make it here today, but it is kind of a cool story because maybe a couple months, it was, I went and ran a race, so it was February. Their superintendent asked for DPI to come out there and to just share what the Purple Star was and how they can support military connected students, also share about the ASVAB and the benefits of enlistment. He said he had heard our state superintendent talking about all of these military efforts, and he wasn't real sure where it fit in with New Hanover, but that we needed somebody to come out there and kind of speak to that. So I anticipate a lot more growth from that district, and I really appreciate that he was on board with supporting military connected students. Next, we have Richmond County Schools. They had 3 schools this year. This is their first time as well. We have Sampson County Schools with 2 schools this year. Anyone from Sampson? And finally, we have Wake County Public Schools. They had 17 Purple Star schools this year. Increase from 7 schools last year. And I have to acknowledge Dr. Taylor. He was at DPI recently as a deputy superintendent. He's also been a superintendent of Layton County Schools. But Dr. Taylor is actually a military spouse. His wife has served, I won't make him speak because only he's about to take a photograph, but a long, long time. And he has always been a military spouse. And so he's been the one moving around with his family and supporting his children as military connected children.
And 1.
Dr. Taylor, how long has your wife served? 35 years. I think our Victory Commissioner would also agree that we couldn't have a better superintendent in Wake County to get Wake County supporting our military connected children. All right, so next we're going to move on to our public charter schools. Ashley Bakiro is our director of the Office of Charter Schools. You can come on up, Ashley. And she's going to be in the photographs with our charter schools as well. She's really the leader of charter schools. She's also a director like myself within the innovation team. So first we have Ascend Leadership Academy. Next, we have the North Carolina Cyber Academy.
Hurry. 1, 2, 3, one more, 1, 2.
Next, we have the Northeast Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technologies, also known as NEAT.
One more.
Next is Pine Springs Preparatory Academy.
And one more.
The Academy of Moore County.
One more.
Southern Wake Academy. Don't think they have the representative. Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy.
One more. 1, 2, 3.
All right, if you remember back, like 90 minutes ago when I started talking, I said we had a new award for our charter schools. And so this year, we have added the Purple Star Charter School Legacy Award. There are 2 schools that will receive this award this year, and that is because they have been Purple Star schools for 5 years, or since its inception, in a row. So as we move forward, if it's a charter school that receives this award 5 years in a row, then they would be eligible to receive the Purple Star Legacy Award. As I mentioned, our Purple Star districts are eligible for their awards, so we just wanted to kind of offer something else for our charter schools. Since most of them, there are some charter schools that maybe have 2 campuses or 2 schools, but most are just a single school. So first up, we have Alpha Academy, and Alpha Academy is located in Fayetteville.
And one more.
And our second charter school to receive this award is Anderson Creek Academy. Anderson Creek Academy is located in Spring Lake. He goes rogue at the end of ceremony. All right, if you would, please join me in congratulating were awarded districts this year. I'm told, I can't move this thing, it's fine. I've got like 4 bottles of water back here, you know, hydrate for that run later. But I think Representative Erin Perret is with us today. Is she in the audience? Did she? There you are. We just want to recognize you. I mentioned this a little earlier, 92 minutes ago, but Representative Perret is also a military spouse. She's very familiar with the military community, and she is our representative that is on the Military Interstate Compact Commission. So huge supporter of our military-connected families. Thank you for coming today. All right, so thank you all once again for coming. I'm now going to turn it back over to Howard, and he's going to get us closed out for the ceremony. He'll also mention it. I just want to remind you all, there's some snacks out there in the flood gallery, so please make sure you grab some food and stuff, because last year Howard had to take home all the carbs and eat them himself. So make sure you take the carbs and the drinks.
Don't want to do that. All right, please stand as Union Pines High School Navy JRTC retrieves the colors.
Arms. Ready, cut. Forward, march. Detail. Halt. Reset. Arms. Order. Arms. Ready, cut. Okay, read. Color. Ready, cut. Counter, march, march. Forward, march. Colors, halt. Order, colors. Ready, cut, on.
This concludes our ceremony, but reminder to get your banners and your stickers out there. Join us in the Thug Gallery for refreshment and additional photo opportunities. Thank you very much and safe travels.